The Listening Party is a web series where we film musicians, bands, and solo artists playing acoustic sets of their songs in various places around Boston and surrounding neighborhoods. And while we've mostly been doing just those sessions, we are putting on our very first Listening Party Presents concert.
We are having Kobe, an acoustic set headline.
Life doesn't choose us. Life only bruises those who spend theirs alone.
Before that is Chain, Red Shoes, and Stone.
Kylie Road, back in Carlisle, before the snow.
And then before that we have Holly McGarry of the band Honeysuckle, who's performing a kind of stripped down acoustic set.
Open up your windows and your doors. Let the light in. I'm sorry to say.
And then we have Adam Kenny opening.
I'm gonna drive us home. Hope that's alright.
So for this concert that we're putting on tomorrow, it was a bit of an interesting situation. I was just intending to reach out to Chain, Red Shoes, and Stone to film a session. He had just put his album online on Sounds of Boston, and I thought it sounded really fantastic, perfect kind of acoustic singer-songwriter folk thing that we love to do. And he replied pretty quickly saying that he was, very interested in doing the session, would love to do it, but lived in DC. Regardless, he was still totally willing to fly up to Boston to do it, and I think he wanted to see some of his friends while he was at it. He was from around here beforehand anyway. So we decided, well, if you're already going to fly up here and we're going to do a session, we might as well just do a whole concert too, because that'll give so much more to the weekend. So there are a bunch of challenges that come up when you start planning a concert just 2 weeks in advance. We didn't really know anything about where the show was going to be, what the equipment was going to be, who was going to play, how many people were going to show up. We knew nothing 2 weeks ago. And, in an ideal world, you have a couple weeks to just get the word out to people and make sure that, people know what's going on. And that we have press coverage, or that everyone has access to equipment that they want. A lot of the stuff that would be nice to know in advance, it all really came together at the last minute. The first and I thought most important thing was finding a nice venue for the concert. We knew we wanted to do an acoustic living room style show, kind of like So Far Sounds, and we thought that would kind of preserve the intimate, private kind of viewing space we wanted to create with the videos, but in a live, multiple person kind of format.
How will I know? I want you.
So my role in planning our show tomorrow has been mostly to coordinate with artists and build the lineup. I plan a lot of shows because I also do events for the radio station and the record label at Northeastern. So basically it's just something that I'm seasoned to do now, so it's not that difficult for me, but reaching out to artists and making sure, we had a very tight deadline, so reaching out to them 2 weeks before the show and hoping that they answered in time for us to properly plan a lineup and make sure that we reach out to everybody was kind of difficult, but basically it's just a lot of emails and a lot of correspondence and hoping that people are on top of their stuff. You'll have a perfect lineup in mind and you'll reach out to your dream lineup and be like, oh, this is gonna work out, this is gonna be such a good show, and then the first person you ask will turn you down and you're like, oh no, this isn't gonna be a good show, what if nobody's available? One of our top choices turned us down and we had to kind of work together to think of other acts that we could throw on the show that would work.
We all talked about it as a group and thought, okay, this person, yes, this person, no, who we want. And then I sent out a couple emails as well.
There's only so many bands that are available and good that will fit with your lineup within a certain set, being able to ask them 2 weeks in advance. So in order to find bands to play these shows, I rely on word of mouth. The first time I did it, I kind of read a lot of blogs and I was like, okay, these people are covered a lot by Allston Pudding or Vanyaland or something. But then I realized that even if they are covered, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna be good for what I'm looking for or that I'll actually enjoy them. So my friends generally know my taste more than a blog would. Our headliner was recommended to me by friends and I listened to them and I really liked them. But I also find out a lot about artists through actually just going out and going to local shows.
And all I'm asking you for is a light to see by.
I've been keeping track of people who are interested in attending because it's such a small space. We do have to keep an attendance list to make sure we don't get overbooked. We don't want any problems with overcrowding. crowding or making too much noise.
I've also been helping coordinate with press as well. We're doing Austin Pudding is covering the show.
Hey there, my little honeybee. What's that you've got on your new Christmas dress?
We had one bit of an issue where at about, it must have been like 7:30 or 8 when the band Cubby showed up. They were supposed to be there at 6:30 to sound check, and we got a little nervous because we had to start the concert.
They were supposed to go on at 9. So there was a point where we realized that they'd sent us a message being like, hey, we're actually in Alston. Where is this in Alston? And we were like, no, it's not in Alston, it's on Mission Hill. So we had a little bit of a freak out trying to like make sure they were getting to the right place and that they were actually gonna show up. But they showed up, so it worked out.
And I'm not too sure if I can stay, and I don't wanna play your game.
I think that the night went super well. I know we filled up the entire room. The musicians were all great. Everybody seemed to really enjoy it. All 4 bands kept coming up to us and telling us like how much they loved it.
One of the bands said it was the most fun they had playing in Boston overall. I think a lot of the people in the crowd were really receptive for it too, and that was kind of the point, was to get people into these new bands and get them exposure.
So this is definitely something that I think that we should do again, because I think it's a better way to get our little organization involved with the community and actually like have something tangible to give back instead of just like, hey, we're on the internet.
The crowd overall received it really, really well, and everyone kept asking us, will you do another one? When's the next one? When's the next one? So I feel like we kind of have to a certain respect, but I really want to as well.
We are the mountains, hey, we are the moon.